good thing.
It is a
So
good thing. Well, that's what you're going to be talking about at the conference, right? Is Mead Clubs?
yeah, it is. And one of the things I realized when I was working with a lot of the wineries is, you can't depend on the bus showing up or even the weather to make sure that you're going to have enough business coming through the doors. And you never know if people, even if they love you, if they're even going to make it back through your doors. So then, or back to the farmer's market or wherever it is that you happen to be. So in the winery I was working at, we had a club and we really kind of just put it to the side. But when I started to look at the revenue it could bring in for us, and I realized these club members, those people are our ambassadors. They're bringing in their friends, their family. When they need to go buy something, they come to us a lot of the time as their first option. And so we really started to look at the revenue that it could generate, the ambassadorship and the marketing that it generates for free out of that. And they love you. So what's bad with that, right?
Yeah.
And so I started studying the clubs, and I actually started my own software company for wine club management and built software for it. So I learned, through pain, blood, and tears, a lot of the best practices. So that's what I'm going to kind of encapsulate and share at the in the program that we have coming up. And it's a pretty tight program, but people usually walk away from it with some good food to help them streamline their club as they design it, as they manage it, and get more money out of it, which is really the point. So you can continue your marketing and making mead.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, and a lot of meaderies are in places that have a certain level of seasonality. That
Mm-hmm.
they've got, especially if they're in tourist towns or in tourist areas. A perfectly good example would be, God, I'm trying to think of one of the ones that's like basically in a tourist trap town. All right, the ones that are in like northern Minnesota and stuff like that. They're up there. They're up there in the boondocks. So you're gonna get you're in rush of hikers and tourists and whatnot in the summertime, but in the winter it's like just the locals. And
Right.
it's you've got to be able to keep that business going. So I think that's really awesome.
Well, even talking about Kent, over at Crafted, um, they have the seasonal weather as well.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
So even though I'm in California, there's times, this last year where we had 115 degrees. People were not really running outside to go and drink. We were all huddling in the corner feeling sorry for ourselves.
With your
With,
parkas on, trying
with
not to
our
freeze to death. Yeah.
with our 2% humidity. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. It's so humid. Like this is not hot. This is not
Hmm.
so right. But nonetheless, that was the fun part of the club. And, I think that's what Kent saw over at Crafted, that it keeps the business going, even though the weather isn't agreeing with us sometimes. And it's predictable revenue. So if you need to buy bottles, you need to file licenses, you need certain expenses coming in, you're not depending on that tourism, which is definitely nice to have that stream of revenue. Even in a small club, Sugars, even if you have 100 people in your club, now I'm going to have to do math in my head. You do 100 people in your club at $70 a release. That's, what is that? $7,000 a year, $28,000 a year potential coming into your pocket.
Yeah.
And kind of easier to grow because you have a base of people who already say, yes, I want it. And even though people like you can't necessarily stay in one club forever and ever and ever, you'll float around. It's still great. The nice part too is the more variety that your club members have from you, instead of just saying, oh, I always want the creme brulee. That's all I want. That's all I want. It's not always going to be there. So the more products I like from your particular meadery, the better the chances are that I'm going to stay loyal with you and not hunt around. So I'll just keep on your experience and grow with you a lot of the times, which can really help with that revenue as well.
Yeah. I'm wondering, and this is something I've thought about as I go cruising through y'all's meat site, and I just
Yeah.
start going, ooh, that looks good, and I like that, and oh my gosh, I really want that. So I end up with like a whole bunch of meads from a whole bunch of different meaderies. I'm really hoping that the day will come when you guys can do like mixed cases, and it would be. And I don't know. I know you guys are subject to whatever the shipping people decide to do, you know. is to be able to do a mixed case and not have the shipping be as much as the cost of the case.
Right.
I've got like $400 in my cart right now, but it's like I'm gonna have to like cut it way back if I want to be able to do it.
I know. Well, thank you very much for $400. But the bottom line is, gosh, who is it who's starting Southern California? He's hanging on. I'm just looking at this, and he's on the list.
Yeah,
he's
there's
coming
half
up
a dozen in San Diego area. If it's one of the Southern Californias.
So they're starting this group called Mead Club.
Yeah.
Southern California.
Okay.
And we're working with them. And he was looking at saying, oh, we could do the Mead Club of Colorado, or we could do the Mead Club of Sunset. The idea here gets back to the point you guys made about 25 minutes ago, which is if we do that Mead Club, the logistics of bringing your mead all into one location so I can ship you 12 different bottles in one case from one location, which would make it affordable for you. It's hard for the mead makers to say, great, we'll give you a pallet or we'll give you this. So we'll work with organizations like alumni associations for universities. We pre-sell everything. Pretty much most of the time. So we know before we go out and do custom labeling, we've already pre-sold, 3 pallets of this. And it's a variety. And it could be just 3 cases. It doesn't have to be a huge volume or anything like that. So that's what we're working on. And you'll talk to the guy. Let me click on him and see what his name is. Alex Gonzalez.
Alex. Yeah, I know Alex. He's actually speaking at the conference. Yeah, he's on one of the panels. But yeah, Alex and Billy Belts and basically they're all right around the San Diego area. I got to go hang out with them at one of their meetings, and it was really cool because I got to try all their meads at once. It was really neat. Made it interesting because I'm driving this giant truck from San Diego back up to LA, and been tasting all these meads. But I think that's a great idea. Yeah, you could totally do that. I mean, there's like 22 meaderies in Michigan, and there's 18 meaderies in Washington, and we've got 4 or 5 here in North Carolina, and there's 3 or 4 in Florida. So yeah, that potential. Yeah. I mean, it would be like sample. It would be like a taste of California, a taste of Colorado, a taste of Michigan. I think that would be an awesome solution.
Exactly, and then. I'm glad you like that. It wasn't my idea. It was Alex's idea that he brought to the table over to Vinoshipper. And then it was odd that he just chose Southern California. But, up in Northern California, we have, it's not all Napa. I'm, hour and a half from Napa. So I kind of like, we're out here. We're not Napa, but we're here. And so it'll be interesting to see where he takes that idea as it launches on through, because that's it, and maybe I'm only making 2 varietals. So, I don't really have a lot to fill up a case order, or I need your help to work together on that. And I also think sometimes when, if you had 2 different, let's go back to this pecan pie that's popping into my head. It's one thing for me to taste one of the pecan pies, but if I taste 2 or 3 side by side, then all of a sudden you guys are educating my palate, because now I can taste the difference. Yeah. So I'm not going to have the palate that you guys have as you do your judging, but all of a sudden, if you've engaged me that way and you're helping me learn, I'm like, yeah, I can't wait till next month's release. And I want to see if I can taste the difference between the cherry pies or, whatever that happens to be in that offering. But yeah, we're pretty excited to work with Alex.
Yeah, Alex is good people, and and he and the rest of the gang down in San Diego have really created a team. But okay, Jaden is asking. He's in Western Canada. Okay, and he said he works at a U make meadery. So like people come in and they create their meads, and then they're brewed and kept at the location, and then they can come and pick it up. But he's curious about member rewards clubs and how to keep costs down while doing instructional gatherings, and he was hoping to hear a little about that. That's probably not something that's like in the context of your talk in any case. It's kind of off the side.
Oh, we actually always do talk about benefits.
Oh, okay.
Because that's how you stand out. I mean, if you think of the wineries, they don't have the varietals that all the different flavors that you guys have.
Yeah.
They have
we have no box. They have a box.
Right? That's right. You enjoy that a little bit too much, but that's okay. I like that.
I do, yeah.
So I will be talking about the different benefits, and one of the fastest, and I learned this because I was going up, I was teaching at Niagara teaching school, and I was looking, and I researched over 200 clubs up in Canada, and they were case clubs. If you came down here, we were all doing our little 3-bottle clubs. And like, why are we leaving 9 bottles on the table if we're only, asking you to sign up for 3 measly bottles 4 times a year? Canada's got it. They're shipping a case. Oh my gosh, they're shipping it every other month, if not every month. And they're not allowed to discount. What the heck?
Yeah.
So I came back really upset that we were leaving so much money on the table, and really impressed with Canada. And the bottom line is they really are not dependent on a discount because they're not allowed to discount. They have to be dependent on those types of benefits that go along with it. I have to make you feel special. And so I started collecting lists and lists of benefits that I'll be sharing at the speech. But, one of the quickest, easiest ones is going down to an Office Depot and getting a metallic pen and signing a bottle. And I was not a winemaker. I'm not a winery owner. I'm not a mead maker. I'm not a meadery owner of any kind, but I pour. And people think we live these romantic, fabulous lives. And they don't know. And we do. But they don't know we're the same people who plunged the toilet and did everything, cleaned the floor and picked up the broken glass as well, and everything on all our clothes are stained. So because we make mead. Yeah. So what we started doing is just making sure the pens were there and signing the bottle. And it was really kind of nice to put a couple of the signed bottles on the back counter so people would see them going, what's that? And you're like, oh, it's an autographed bottle from our mead maker. And they're like, oh my gosh, I want it. How do I get that? Well, you join the club. Or however you want to go about doing it. Sometimes you bring
please.
the exactly. And I remember one of the times that I was working a passport weekend someplace, and something had rubbed me the wrong way, and I just couldn't get my attitude to be cheerful. And they had this fabulous sale on a case, and I just couldn't. I'd offer it, tell them the benefit, and I just couldn't move it. And I saw my friend who was the winemaker in this case. And I'm like, Deanna, did you get a pen on you? She goes, yeah. I'm like, okay, get ready to sign. And I started offering, she'll sign a couple of the bottles. And within an hour, we had cases sold. So nice little benefit. Cost you $8.95 in tax to get that metallic pen to sign a couple bottles.
Yeah.
People love it. And that's one of the benefits. You want to make sure you just go ahead.
I was just going to say, you ought to see what bottles signed by Ken Schramm at Schramm's Mead go for on the, they're the resale market. People go and they buy the signed bottles and then they turn around and sell them for like 200 times their sold value.
Fabulous.
Yeah. There's meads that sell for $150 for a 500 ml bottle that turn around and sell for $3,000 on the secondary market.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I haven't seen the 3,000 ones, but we work with Schramm as well, so that's a good thing. Initially when we were working we have some 1970, 1980 rock bands that were doing the autographs, and they were funny because they were talking about autographing the bottles. Like, oh, the mead maker's going to do it, and like, no, the artist, and you're like, oh, I guess that's okay. So it's what the people wanted.
Well, you guys are,
but the band,
you're shipping for John Talkington's meadery, and he's in Delaware, and he has actually done some collab meads where there's a band that he likes. He does metal. I'm not sure if it's heavy metal or death metal or what kind of metal it is, but it's some kind of metal. And,
some flavor of metal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's got a Viking themed place, and it's really cool. It's the decor is amazing, and anyway, so he's shipping through you guys, and they had one that they did a collab, and I don't know if they've got the artist. I think the artist signed some of the bottles. So yeah, it's happening. It's out there doing it.
Yeah, we have Fog Hat, and they're the ones who had that.
I love Fog Hat.
Oh wow!
I love Fog Hat.
Slow ride, take it easy. Yeah.
I've got all their albums.
Those guys are fun. Oh, do you?
I got the vinyl in the basement.
I grew up in the 60s and 70s. Hell yeah.
I'll tell you, behind the scenes, they are so nice and really, really sweet. So they are the winemakers as well as the band. And Linda, the wife, is the manager. So we meet with them a lot. We work, and there's a couple more that were a little bit younger than I am, or a little older than I am. But an example of Little Big Town. We do Little Big Towns Club. And if you're country western, but they've crossed the lines as well. Uh-huh. And they don't promote their club at all. And it's just I can never tell you how big it was. It's just so disappointing when you know that they've won top country western performance